I like FairPrice's motto, which is to do well to do good. And I think it can be encapsulated in three of the things that FairPrice does. First of all, the 100 over stores shows that FairPrice has good outreach to the community, all sectors of the community, and particularly those in the low-income groups who are looking for good value. Secondly, FairPrice does provide a good value and goes out of its way to try and get the best value for the consumer. We've seen many times during inflationary periods, during times of crisis, FairPrice has stepped forward to respond. It's diversified its sources, it's kept prices low, ensured continuity of supply. And thirdly, FairPrice, I think, plays an important social enterprise role. It contributes to the community. This year, FairPrice is contributing $10 million to its $50 million community fund. And I think that's something which is also worth emulating.
So, Minister, over the weekend, PAP released its manifesto. Have you received any feedback from it?
Well, first, any other questions on FairPrice?
Because the slogan by building a community together, definitely it's also like securing our future together.
You're interviewing her, so right?
Same.
No, so are any other questions on FairPrice? Okay, so your question again?
Have you received any feedback on the PAP manifesto?
I think it's something which has been welcomed by residents and voters because it deals with the practical issues which they're concerned about in everyday life, in every constituency, in every home. Making sure that the future is there for their children, making sure that their homes are well looked after. And I think that's the most important thing for each and every one of our residents. Of course, there's a larger political picture, which is how do you make sure that the country remains stable and secure in uncertain times. I think the focus for many Singaporeans is what is the situation in jobs, employment, cost of living, how is the government helping them with that, and so on.
How do you respond to criticisms that the manifesto actually lacks some substance compared to the opposition parties?
Compared to the opposition? Which manifesto have you been reading?
I mean, like this just criticisms.
If you look at the substance of the manifesto of the PAP, it's got a good track record. We have actually delivered on our promises over several decades. We think carefully before we put something down because we know we have to deliver on it. I don't think it's the same for the manifestos of opposition parties. They put down a long laundry list of things which they imagine can be done, but the reality is not the same. And even if you put down the same item, the PAP has shown that it can deliver implementation, execution. You put down the same item, the question is, can the other guy deliver?
In today's Straits Time Forum, Dr. Ong Hean mentioned Workers' Party done so well. Stay overseas for the years, suddenly come back, question the motive, want to be MP. So any view on DPM on this?
Well, I think that's a question not for me to answer. It's a question for the Workers' Party to answer how they select their candidates and why they think it's appropriate to represent Singaporeans.
What do you think about him?
I've never met him, so I don't know. And I can't comment on him. But I think the question really is if a party, a serious party, wants to put forward a candidate, it should be able to explain what its selection process is and why it feels its candidate is able to represent Singaporeans well. I think that's the responsibility of the party.
So yesterday also the details of the committees to verify the ethnicity of candidates have been released. And in the last two elections, this was released the day before the writ of election was issued. Is there a pattern that we can expect this year?
Well, that's the correct chronological sequence. One thing has to happen before the next thing happens.
Right, a day before.
Yeah, but they have to happen in a certain sequence. So you're quite correct that they happen in a certain sequence. The actual spacing between them will have to be seen.
So how is the party preparing for now that the manifesto and everything has been reviewed? How is the party, what is the state of the situation now in the party?
Well, for an election, the party prepares immediately after the last election. So from that point of view, there's no difference. What we're doing right now is to make sure that we are able to get our message across. It's quite unlike the opposition parties who usually turn up just before the election and then make a big noise about things. So PAP knows, and residents know, PAP works on the ground all the time, all over the 5 years, and that's the way that we continue to do so.
So the logistics and everything is already in here.
Yeah. You know, you can look at the election as an event, but the election is not like some kind of carnival, you know, where you go to the carnival, you enjoy yourself, the adrenaline goes up, and then you go home, you know, or an action movie, you know, you get excited, all the stunts and everything. Then you go home in your nice, comfortable bed and you go to sleep comfortably. But the election is a serious matter because you decide, and after that, whether you go home to sleep in your comfortable bed or not, depends on how you've decided. So the two are not separated events. It's not just some kind of carnival or some kind of action movie where you go there and enjoy just for that period. You know? And you have to think of the consequences and the longer term issues. Yep. Anything else?
Is it the team already finalized? Will Tercelet move to others constituency?
Well, we've got a team which is working on the ground right now, and I would say that 90% this is the team that we'll go with. That's the team I would prefer to go with, certainly.
So the 10% is some others movement possibly away.
Well, as with anything, you know, there's always some possibility, but I would say 90% this is the team that we go with. It's the team I would like to go with.
Yeah, maybe you can tell us more about the especially
Have you received any feedback?
Well, I think some of the feedback in a way revolves around the assurance that comes forth from knowing that the plans are for the longer term, and yet they look at some of the shorter term issues. I think people like to know that they can bring up their children in an environment that is predictable, that is challenging but exciting at the same time, and that the government will do all it can, you know, to ensure that the opportunities are there, the families stay intact, and that the environment continues to be a very safe and secure one.
Maybe you can tell us more about how prepared you guys are for the elections, for your Hwee.
Okay, for us, the team has been preparing since the last GE. To us, the GE is really a moment to get the mandate again from the people. Our work continues actually right from the time we won the mandate the last time round, because we work at delivering on our promises. A lot of the programs are long-term, like lift upgrading, building communities, looking after the aged, looking after the young. And these are not things that we will do just during this period, but we've been working hard at those, and we would love very much to continue, doing that with the residents.
This coming election, the PAP is building in a lot more women in its league. Your comment as a women minister?
Okay, on a net basis, it's going up to 20. I mean, as far as the new candidates have been introduced. It's a good sign. I think it's a reflection of the increasing role that women are playing in society, in the economy as well.